Hello, everybody. I hope you got your holy water because we're talking about haunted locations in this episode of Beyond the Borderline with your hosts, Cam, Ryan, and Phil, and Connor.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 23 of Beyond the Borderline. And last week we talked about cryptids and kind of weird, mysterious creatures, pardon me, that may or may not exist. And so kind of in the same vein, we're going to be talking about some ghostly tales today, more specifically haunted locations around the world. So we'll dive a little bit into some of the more famous haunted locations and kind of tell about their stories and stuff. And so who wants to kick us off, boys?
I'll take a stab at her. So I wanted to keep it a little bit more local, being that we're from Canada. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel.
Nice.
There's quite a few stories that surround this very, very large hotel. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a picture of this hotel, but it's quite big. It's quite impressive.
It's like the almost like the Chateau Frontenac style in Quebec City.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very much designed in the same vein. And I really cannot overstate how large this hotel is. It's more like a castle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so to jump right into the haunted story surrounding this place, the first one is about this bride that was having a wedding at the hotel in the 1920s, I believe. She was walking down one of the sets of stairs in the hotel down to the main lobby. A grand marble staircase is the one specifically she was walking down. And she unfortunately tripped and fell. It's kind of ambiguous as to how she fell down the stairs, but some say her dress caught on fire because there was candles laid about the stairs. Some people just say she tripped. Some people say she was pushed. But anyways,
she stripped.
She stripped. Yes, she stripped. Yeah, she was pushed or she fell or however she died after falling down the stairs.
That sucks. That's like the worst way to go.
She died. Yeah, she died.
One too many beverages, eh?
Yeah, I guess.
Whenever we hear stories about that, I always think of like walking into a bar in heaven, and sitting down with the lads, like getting a beer at the bar, like when you're dead and everyone's sharing tales of how they died. And someone's just like, yeah, I fell down the stairs. Like, that sucks, dude.
Anyways, ever since that day that she fell down the stairs and died, hotel staff and hotel patrons there have been multiple reports of seeing a woman walking the halls in a wedding dress, dancing and laughing and standing at the foot of the bed of certain people's hotel rooms
and stripping.
Yeah, and stripping. But yeah, basically just causing all kind of shenanigans. But there was never any reports of her actually causing any like harm. But yeah, apparently there's just many reports of this woman in the wedding dress just running around the hotel dancing and kind of just acting creepy in general.
Yeah, I'd like to stay there one day.
Yeah, I would love to.
Just to see, just to make sure.
To this day, people still claim they've seen the woman in the wedding dress. The hotel staff obviously deny it.
Yeah, I feel like they deny it, but like keep it alive a little bit. Because like, if it was like fully like everyone believed it, obviously business wouldn't go too well. But the fact that it's like just kind of a lingering rumor is probably like a net benefit for business.
But the more like known story this hotel the hotel has is there are a series of haunted rooms in the hotel for varying different reasons, but the most famous room is the missing room 873, and I'll get into why it's called the missing room. There is no specific date, but years ago a man, a wife and his child were staying in the room 873. And one night, the man just all of a sudden became crazy and murdered his wife and child and then killed himself.
Jeez. That's like The Shining almost.
Yeah. After the the investigation was done and the room was cleaned up, hotel staff and maids claim that the window, or not the window, sorry, but the mirror in the bathroom can constantly, whenever they go in to clean, they see bloody fingerprints and a bloody handprint on the mirror. And every time they would clean up the blood, the bloody handprint would return the next day.
Nice.
And
Wild.
people who had stayed in the room reported hearing horrible wailing, screaming in the middle of the night in the room.
Oh, that's nice. Look, if I worked there, like, why do people? I would quit immediately. You know, like if a bloody handprint showed up every single day, you know, like
I'd be like, yo, I do not get paid enough for that.
yeah, that's above my
Right.
pay grade, dude. Like,
However, the really scary thing about this room is that hotels, the official hotel staff will claim the room does not exist. And if you actually went to the 8th floor and tried to find room 873, you wouldn't be able to find it because the last room on the 8th floor is room 875. Now, why this is really, really weird is every floor in the building has a room, every floor on the building, the last room number of every floor or of every room on every floor is 73. So on floor 6, it's the last room on floor 6 is 673. The last floor, or the last room on floor 7 is 773. But for some reason on floor 8, it stops at 875. Now, some people may think that room 873 was kind of merged into 875 because 875 is much larger than most rooms. But people constantly go to this hotel just so that they can find room 873, but it's not there.
I thought the story was that they boarded it up on, like, because it was so fucked and because people were experiencing so many paranormal encounters in it, that they literally bricked up the entire doorway and then put plaster over it and made it look like the rest of the hallway.
That's also where I was going, is there have been reports and stories that is the case as to why 873 isn't there now. But if you ask official hotel staff, they'll say, yeah, 873 just doesn't exist.
Damn. I also heard that there was because I looked a little bit at it as well, Ryan, when I was looking into places for this conversation. And apparently they were showing like the floor plans and the designs of the hotel and stuff. And apparently there's one room with no windows and no doors. And nobody, even the owner of the hotel, didn't know that it was there, but it was part of the design. It's on the blueprints and stuff. And it's just a small room on one of the floors, no windows, no doors, but apparently people hear like horrifying screams and stuff coming from it.
Wow.
So no one knows, you know, if it was used for something nefarious and was kind of a hidden room that had some strange purpose. But anyway, this is what I hear.
But yeah, that's basically my spiel on that hotel. A lot of people seem to think that this hotel is what gave Stephen King the inspiration for The Shining, but that's not actually true. Stephen King got his inspiration from the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. But there's certainly similarities.
That place also made the list as like one of the top haunted places in the world.
Yeah, I was also looking at that as well.
Yeah, it's cool. I want to stay over in some of these places, you know, just to see myself. Like I watched a bunch of videos that were like top 10 haunted locations in the world, and both those hotels, the Stanley, whatever it's called, in Colorado, and the Banff Springs one, showed up on every list. And it's like, okay, if it's that many people saying these things about it, you know. And same with actually closer to home, we should go to the old Ottawa jail.
I've been to it. I haven't stayed the night, but I've been to it. I think I went there for school one day on a field trip.
Yeah, same. But you can stay the night. Like, that's my point. We should stay the night and then do an episode after and be like, what do we experience? You know,
we saw some fucked shit.
No, also isn't
actually
what do you call it? The Kingston Penitentiary, isn't that whack too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you know why that's whacked is because that was a kind of a breeding ground for the United States government to test their MK Ultra project.
Really?
Oh yeah, they tested
Kingston.
Yes, and they tested many drugs and many different chemicals through the MK Ultra project on women in that penitentiary.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Damn. Okay.
What's the MK Ultra project?
The MK Ultra project was the United States government's attempt to create
Like
basically
mind control or
yeah,
super
it was, yeah,
soldiers.
they were trying to create sleeper cell agents to kind of like inject them into Russian society and then activate them whenever they needed to.
Why do
But
they do it in Canada then?
I think there was like just collaboration, like
Yeah, there was collaboration, and
research
also
grants and funding.
I imagine they could probably more plausible deniability. They could, you know what I mean? Like they keep it out of their country.
But isn't it
True.
like declassified? I'm pretty sure. Like
I think so. Yeah,
Like people know that it was an official thing that the CIA actually
was
tried
trying to do. Yeah, but they were going beyond just trying to create like spies and shit. They were trying to unlock, you know, like telekinetic abilities with like MDMA and stuff like that, and different psychedelic drugs.
Yeah, I used to watch theories that like Britney Spears was an MK Ultra subject and stuff.
Well, that's what
But-
so that's kind of what the show Stranger Things kind of talks about too. Stranger Things gets into that MK Ultra stuff a lot
Oh,
too.
yeah?
They kind of allude to it a little bit in the show.
The
I
trailer
haven't
for
seen it
season
for a
4 just
while.
dropped.
I know, looks great.
I don't think I've seen. I
Great
know I
series.
binged season 1 in one night a long time ago when it came out, but I don't even.
Same.
I'm not caught up at all.
It's very good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I wanted to talk about the Paris Catacombs a bit.
Bet.
So these are just so fascinating to me because I love old shit.
I don't
and
really
love
know much about them.
architecture. Yeah. Well, it's just okay. Well, I'll go
Cameron.
into.
Please do the fans a service. It's spectacular.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
heard about them before, so I'm very fascinated.
Okay. I don't know. I took some notes, so like let's see what I can come up with here. So basically, this is it has a long history. So basically, in the 12th century, there was a cemetery in Paris called the Holy Innocents Cemetery. So the Holy Innocents Cemetery was the largest one in Paris, but eventually it got full. Basically, you know, this was the main cemetery for the entire city of Paris. So it filled up fairly quickly. So when it started filling up, they began to dig mass graves there. So instead of interring people, you know, one body at a time in a proper 6-foot grave, they would just dig a huge grave and basically just toss corpses in until it got filled up. So a little unceremonial, but you know, you're running out of space in the middle of a dense urban city. There's not much you can do, right? So eventually it got so full that, and it was so kind of poorly organized and shallowly dug graves, you know, like not proper burial conditions, that purportedly the air in the cemetery was so nasty, just so full of rot and disease and horribleness that it spoiled milk like almost instantly if you brought milk into the cemetery, and it would rot meat completely within, you know,
Ugh,
a matter of hours. Like that was how filthy this place was.
ugh.
Not only that, but the lack of oxygen in the soil and just the lack of proper nutrients in the soil, because you know this place was full of corpses and just completely diseased and terrifying. No, that basically the corpses didn't actually decompose properly as they would in a normal cemetery, you know, with oxygen being able to get at the corpses, and with, you know, various creatures able to feast on their flesh, for lack of a better term. That actually what happened to the corpses is many of them in these mass graves turned into this horrible like gelatin type substance known as corpse wax.
Oh,
So just imagine, you know, wax made of flesh and bones and ooze and just terrible. Just completely repulsive stuff. So anyway, eventually it got so full and so nasty, and you know, businesses wouldn't operate near it, people wouldn't want to live near it. Like this is like, you know, you can imagine how it would affect property value to have an overpacked putrid cemetery right beside you. So eventually in the 17th century, Louis XVI, who was king of France at the time, he closed all cemeteries in Paris, including the Holy Innocent Cemetery, and dug up all the remains, and they had to put it somewhere. So in a classic sweeping shit under the carpet move, they decided to put them in the old limestone mines, which basically ran underneath the entire city of Paris. So out of sight, out of mind. Basically, so Paris sat on a huge kind of bed of limestone, which they used to construct a lot of the old buildings in it, like, you know, Notre Dame Cathedral and the Louvre Museum and stuff like that. And in total, it was 350 kilometers of tunnels and a total of 32 kilometers squared, which is actually a third of the entire size of Paris on the surface. So basically, an entire second city's worth of tunnels lie underneath Paris.
Wow.
And they were mines, you know, limestone mines for the most part. And they're used for various purposes over the years. Apparently farmers used them for mushroom cultivation. The Nazis used them when they took over France in 1942. The French resistance against the Nazis used them as well for covert operations and whatnot. But yeah, so in the catacombs, after Louis XVI ordered all the corpses moved to them, there's now about 6 to 7 million dead bodies in these tunnels. And to put that in perspective, the population in Paris is just over 2 million. So there's about 3 times as many dead people in Paris as there are living.
Wow.
It's kind of horrifying, you know, just lurking under the streets, you know, like 50 feet under. And in fact, there's an occasion, I forget when it was, I want to say like the 1920s, but don't quote me on that, where like a whole block of the city just collapsed 90 feet down right into the catacombs. So it's there, it's everywhere, you know. But most of the bodies are it's not like they're everywhere, you know, because it's such a large area underground that they tried to, well, it was kind of impossible to spread them out everywhere. So there's this famous section, the only section that's actually still open to the public, where you can have paid tours. It's called the ossuary. So from the root word of bone, obviously. And it's basically this room and these series of tunnels completely made out of the bones of all the dead people. So the walls are lined with, like, there'll be a few rows of like femurs, and then a row of skulls, and then some like spinal columns and stuff in a strangely like artistic way. You know, it almost looks good, you know, like satisfying from a design point of view. You know, just skulls wrapping around these pillars and stuff like that. Pretty morbid, but yeah, so you can tour that area in Paris, but the rest of it is closed. It's illegal to enter, probably because like you'll either die or you know, cause a collapse or something like that. But yeah, there's tons of stories of people getting lost in there. More recently, there was a couple teenagers who got lost in there after they were in there for 3 days, and they were on the brink of death, but they were found by like a pack of search dogs and stuff. But think about it, 350 kilometers. Like, if you go in, you're kind of fucked. I saw this, it was like a documentary of these guys that were exploring it. And at one point, the guy turned off his flashlight just to show what it would be like if you got lost. Just pitch black,
Yeah.
you know, in these cramped corridors. And it's like, man, if you get lost, your batteries die, you're never, ever coming out. So just
Yeah.
imagine how many people over the centuries, because this thing's been around for 400 years, you know, and the limestone mines even longer, just how many people went in and never came out, combined with the fact that there's 7 million corpses in there. You know, you can imagine. But anyway, so there's all kinds of rumors that it's haunted, as you can imagine. One of the popular legends is that somewhere in the depths of the catacombs, it actually leads to the gates to hell, which is obviously a little farcical. But it's really obscure and mysterious and interesting. And the fact that it just lurks below, like I saw this video on it with a really good title called The Empire of Death Below the City of Lights. Because Paris is it's called the City of Lights, right? That's its nickname. It's the city of love, and it's beautiful and gorgeous and picturesque, but below it is just this creeping horror of millions
Yeah.
and millions of corpses and skulls lining the hallways like some fucking macabre dungeon. But yeah, it's really cool. And then there was this footage that was recovered. So people found
Yes,
a video
the
camera. Yeah.
The camera.
I wonder if this is the inspiration for if anyone knows Minecraft, there's music discs that you can find. And one of the music discs is called, I think it's disc 13. And I don't think it has a name. It's just disc 13. And most of them play music, but this one plays just a terrifying audio track of like this guy running through a cave, and like you can hear him panting and like scared, and then but it's Minecraft, so like you can hear like a creeper explode behind him or something, but it's pretty terrifying when you listen to it without context. And I'm wondering if they're related, because the video camera they found in the catacombs was just a guy going through it with a light and a camera. And he's exploring and he's turning this way and that way, and you see piles of bones here and piles of leg bones over there and a huge pile of skulls over there, like hundreds. Like this is crazy. And then he starts to get more panicked, and you can hear his breath. He's breathing really heavily. He's like frantic, you know what I mean? And he's turning rapidly and going down these passageways, and you can kind of assume that he's lost or being chased by something. It's very, very freaky because it's a POV shot, and it's like all you can see is what he sees, and you just hear him start to get more and more freaked out. And then all of a sudden he starts running down this hallway, and then drops
the camera.
Yeah, drops the camera.
And it faces him running.
Yeah, so you can see like just briefly him splashing through this puddle and like running off into the complete darkness, because I think the light was attached to the camera.
Yeah.
So it's like he just ran off into the dark, and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
So did
and
that
why
guy
would you
ever-
drop?
And he was never seen again.
Oh, he was never seen again. Okay.
As far as we know, he was never seen again. And
Damn.
the footage was recovered. It's filmed until the batteries died, and nothing was caught on the footage. But you have to wonder, like, did he just kind of go a little bit crazy, because he thought he was lost and he just panicked super hard, or like, maybe some demonic entity caught him. But yeah, it's really cool.
There's an okay movie based on the catacombs. I believe it's called As Above, So Below.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I need to watch this now.
Like it's more theatrical in its origin, about like being the center of hell or whatever.
Yeah, the gates.
It kind of gets into that, but
Wait, what's it
I
called?
would say
Sorry?
it's As Above, So Below.
As Above, So Below.
It's
Okay.
it actually does a fairly great representation of kind of the lore, and like you get like real POV footage that they used for the movie.
Yeah,
Dude,
nice.
Like
Something to be
they
said-
actually went in.
Oh, and
There's
just
something to be said- there's something to be said about like letting the dead rest, like like as I say, like final resting spot. And these think
Mhm.
about it, like these people, like these bones were people at one point taking their leg bones, throwing them somewhere, taking their skull, throwing it somewhere else. Like that's not true. Like that's not a true resting place. So I feel
Mhm.
like if anywhere's going to be haunted, this place makes sense, because these were like people at one point. And as you say, like they just take their bones and they turn them into like walls and columns and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you can't, if you truly believe that it's someone's final resting place, you can't expect somebody to rest peacefully if they've been pulled apart and separated and just put randomly as an ornament, rather than like left as a human body that
Yeah.
once was.
Yeah, I agree. And like just the sheer number of them too. Like if any place is going to be haunted, it's the place with 7 million corpses. Like,
Yeah,
oh, and then one
that's
last
really
quick
wow.
fact. Yeah. Okay. One last quick fact about the catacombs. And this is filthy. Like this is just rancid. But so the corpse wax that I was talking to you about before,
Mhm.
basically this goo of half decomposed bodies. So when Louis XVI ordered all the cemeteries emptied, it said that there were a couple people that were very happy about this, and that was the candle makers and the soap makers in Paris.
Oh no.
These dirty bastards collected the corpse wax, and turned it into candles and bars of soap that they sold to the residents of Paris.
They saw an opportunity and they took it.
That's morbid. That's morbid.
Capitalism. Yeah.
That is.
I guess people do that
horrifying.
with animals, so you can't look too bad on it. But still,
Well, but bars of soap. I mean, would
I'm
you
not
wanna
washing
wash
myself
yourself?
with. I'm
But
not.
wouldn't
I'm
it
not.
smell bad though?
you wouldn't know
I don't
though.
know, man. Yeah, you
Okay,
would
so that's
know,
actually-
but
that's
if
actually-
you
I
did
guess
know,
like gelatin.
They would have
Yeah.
used it as like a binding agent rather than like a scent, probably. Phil,
Yeah,
if it was
exactly,
like,
exactly.
no, yeah. Yeah.
But think about it this way: I don't want to be washing myself with some dead guy's asshole. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Like, isn't that just counterproductive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about if you're the dead person, like you're just getting turned into a bar of soap.
I mean,
and
I
someone's
guess reduce,
someone's
reuse,
just
recycle.
someone's just
Ugh.
using you as to wash themselves.
Yeah, that is horrifying.
It's fucked.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
All
Well,
right.
actually,
should we-
you said the right word, Cam. That is filthy.
yeah, just filthy, and not in a good way. Not when like there's a nasty dangle like in the NHL or something. Like this is filthy
Literally,
Yeah.
literally disgusting.
Literal dirt.
dirt. Yeah.
Kind of messed up story, but no one really wants to be used as soap or to be burned as a candle, I guess.
Or to
How to
use
do it.
people that were used as soap,
Yeah, it's
Uh,
kind of gross, but
or
Like,
use soap
just
that used to
imagine you use bars of soap to clean your face. You're putting a dead man on your face.
be people. And other areas that.
just getting some gooch in your eyes.
Oh, no.
Getting some sweaty ass and ball
Oh,
sack.
and it could be the thing about the wax is that like you don't know it's just from one guy too. Like they probably just scooped this shit up. It could have
Oh,
been
it's an
because the mass
collection.
graves are 1,500 people at a
It's just a
each
conglomerate.
grave.
It's just a conglomerate of like
Yeah, filth.
It's a
Yo,
smorgasbord of
No
people.
cap, and I
It's
hope
just
everyone can
ooze.
agree with me. That so-called baby soap that doesn't make you cry makes you cry.
Yeah, it makes you cry.
Wait, which?
That is some false advertising right
Oh
there.
yeah.
What are you talking about?
You know that like gentle soap that you used as like a 5-year-old that wasn't supposed to get in your eyes and make you want to die?
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah,
No,
I
I
know
didn't use-
exactly. The
I didn't use
shampoo. It's
baby
like
soap,
The
Phil.
shampoo, it had
it
like
has
a
like
yellow bottle.
yeah, it has like an amber color.
I don't know,
Oh.
dude. I have like 5 memories from when I was 5, and
didn't-
none of them involve
Yeah.
soap.
Phil, sometimes you just suck it up and like.
Did you wash
roll
your
with the
hair with
punches.
soap? Like how's it getting in your eyes? I mean, I
don't know,
guess.
man.
I guess-
I'm
Well,
ju-
no.
you-
It's not just soap. It's
I'm
also
just
shampoo.
thorough.
All right,
Phil,
fair
until you're about 20 years old, you used to have a bald head, so I don't even think you would.
enough.
Hair is a baby.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
Phil, he had long hair for a while there.
For a
Those,
minute, dude.
the pictures in your hallway will attest to that.
Grade 5.
True.
That's it. Grade 5 was the
Good.
last time.
And then he
Good.
shaved it.
That's a while.
It's
Uh,
wild.
All right, folks. I think we'll leave this episode here, but tune in on Friday, and we'll hear a couple more stories. With Phil and myself have our stories to share. So tune in on Friday for that. In the meantime,
And if you don't, the catacomb demons will find you.
Oh no. I didn't want to. Yeah, thanks, Cam. I didn't want to sleep tonight.
And then they will
Yeah.
turn you into bars of soap. No.
there you go.
Yo, I
I
will
know.
say, and I didn't want to interrupt anyone's stories, but something moved in my fucking room and
Oh,
it scared the
no.
shit out of me, dude.
I saw you look for like
Dude, you saw me look, dude.
I saw you look over and I was like, what's that?
Yeah,
What
maybe
the fuck?
maybe the
Something
skin
literally
demon is
fell
coming-
off of my shelf.
Oh,
dude.
Maybe
boy.
the-
Remember, grab. Hey,
Maybe
I'm
the
gonna
skin-
remember to
Maybe
grab
the
your
skin
holy
demon is
water.
coming to get you, Phil.
It's from no, it's
God.
Midge that we talked about. Anyone,
Yes,
if you're
yes.
wondering, go check out episode 6 and you'll know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
He's not a
Right.
poltergeist. I just had to think of a cool name because Jim is too mainstream, you know?
Right.
For sure, for sure. All right.
Right.
Thanks
Everyone-
everyone.
Have a great night. Take care. Brush your hair.